And welcome back to the video on demand section at WMMBAM.com. Right now we're talking with County Commission District 3 candidate Jason Mahaney. Jason is here as he tries to unseat Trudy Infantini, who is in that seat right now and also running to keep her job. Helen Volt's also in this race. So, Jason, let's talk a little bit about who you are and what got you into this. Tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, what your experience is, and why you went into this race.
Well, I work for the city of Palm Bay. I'm graduated right here, local Brevard County, so I'm from here.
Mm-hmm.
Work for the city of Palm Bay. I'm also the vice mayor of the town of Grant Valcaria.
So you got a little political experience.
I've been there since incorporation, so once we incorporated, we didn't even have a manager, so we actually ran the town until we could hire.
All right, very good. As you take a look at this county commission seat, what made you decide you wanted to run here?
Our current commissioner doesn't have the leadership ability for that position. You know, when you see how she's acting and what's going on, it really makes me want to make changes. You know, when I said it, if everything was going the way I thought it should, I would not be jumping in against another Republican.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see the way things are happening, we might as well not even have a District 3 office at this time.
Tell me why you think that way.
Because it doesn't matter which way our current county commissioner votes, the other commissioners are going to vote. She has no ability to change their way of thinking.
Is that how you would define leadership? That you said she doesn't have the leadership ability, that's what you're looking for. Tell me how you would define leadership in a county commissioner.
Well, leadership, you have to be able to get your employee and people to work for you, to get behind you and to back what you're doing, to have the thoughts that you have.
And how would you do that as opposed to how Commissioner Infantini's doing it?
Well, I would work with the staff and residents. You know, it seems like there's a one-sided agenda that's going on with this.
What do you mean by that?
Well, whenever everything is a fight when it comes out. If it doesn't go that way, there's a fight. If there's a vote that goes wrong, there's emails sent out. It's a constant battle on everything that's happening.
Well, wouldn't the emails being sent out be a part of keeping your constituents informed and advised?
As long as all the information would be the correct data. You know, we don't throw out numbers that we're not sure to back on.
All right, very good. Let's take a look at the county and how it runs right now. Where do you think the county's doing a good job?
Overall, the county does a good job. You know, they're in the mindset of creating jobs for other residents. You know, that's what we have to look for. We're not talking the county creating jobs for county workers. We're talking about the county working to get the economic development, to get people in.
What's the best way to create that environment that would bring jobs here in your mind?
Well,
what are the steps you would take?
The first thing you got to do is get civility among the board, the county commissioners. You have to get the civility on the board. Now, I've heard you say before that we go along to get along. That's the wrong way of thinking. You do not go along to get along. You know, you got to get in there and you have to tell them your reasons you're doing things, and you have to have good, legitimate reasons.
Okay. What are the steps you take to create jobs in Brevard?
Well, first thing, you have civility on the board.
Mm-hmm.
You can advertise your commission, how they're working to promote it, and you get your economic development out there to push it.
We talked tax abatements earlier. Is that an appropriate part of this, and how do you feel those should be done?
Tax abatements are needed at this time, you know, because we have no money to hand out to people, and we shouldn't be asking our residents to hand out money to people. The tax abatement is on future growth. It's not on, you know, we're not handing them money. We're just not collecting as much when it comes to a tax abatement. When you have local jobs that are already there, if they're going to grow their business, they should be eligible for tax abatements also. They shouldn't have their hands tied to new businesses coming in paying more. They're an established business in our county already.
All right. What about the regulatory environment in the county? Right now, if you're going to build anything, if you're going to do anything, you've got to stop probably at a city. You probably got to stop at the county to get permitting and those kind of things in order. Are there things the county can do to reduce that regulation to make it a little easier to bring a business into town or into the county?
The county has the SNAP program, which is set up for a simple, nimble, accelerated permitting process.
Mm-hmm.
They have established that last year.
Is it working as far as you know? Is it doing a good job?
It appears to be working. There is a backlog of work up there.
Mm-hmm.
They have to. They're picking the new jobs coming in. They're able to pick what they want through that program to accelerate.
All right. We've asked you where you thought the county was doing things well. Where do you think it's doing things poorly right now? What are the problem areas in the county that you see?
The problem areas in the county is the tax base. We have it's growing a growing tax base, and we need to get a control over the money that we're spending, that we're asking our residents to put out.
So we're taxing our citizens too much money right now.
Yes. And then we're going to have another deficit this year, and that all falls on that property values dropping every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Looks like those values may be stabilizing a little bit. Are you in favor of those rollback rates that allow the county to continue to capture the same amount of money, basically regardless of what happens with the tax rate?
Well, with the stabilizing, it looks like there will not be a rollback rate this year. So they're not going to, they're not going to be able to fall back on using that one. It's going to be a tax increase if they're increase anything.
Mm-hmm. Are there areas where the county's failing service-wise? Are there places that we can have improvement there?
There's always places you can improve. The thing is getting in there and figuring out exactly what it is. We have to get with the employees and make sure that they understand that they're there to give us a service. They're there to pay for our service. We're paying them for a service. So they need to improve every aspect they can. One thing that you got is you got the mindset that they're the only one that can sell us the service. So we have to change that way of thinking and make them, you want them to have a good job. You want them to know that they're doing a good job. People want to work for you. It's showing them that you care.
All right, let's go to your philosophy on government expenditures and taxing and specific purposes for that. Not a big fan of the yields program. We have Brevard voters, though, have passed it twice now. We've spent a lot of money on lands that we probably shouldn't have taken off the tax rolls, and sometimes we forget about the maintenance cost of those lands once we do. Tell me what you think about the yields program, what might be appropriate, what might not be appropriate.
Well, right now, you don't want to go out buying, you don't want to spend any more money on the program right now. There's no money to spend, and we do need to maintain what we already have. It does no good to go out and spend money on purchasing more land if we can't maintain what we have.
County doing a good job with yields?
I think they're doing the best they can with the funding that they have.
What do you think about the Economic Development Commission, what their role is? Are we appropriately funding that in part with county dollars, or should that be a private enterprise situation only? And what about Economic Development Commission and accountability to the county?
Well, anytime that we're spending our funds for something, there needs to be an accountability for it. When the Economic Development Commission, they do play a major role in bringing businesses to Brevard County. So they do have to have funding to do that, to generate funds themselves. In this economy, you're not going to generate funds.
When Brevard voted to extend tax abatements, the EDC was involved in hiding what Embraer actually was from the commission. If you were on the commission at that time, would you have voted to give a tax abatement to a business that you didn't know what it was coming in?
Well, there comes a time where you have to have a working trust with the people that you're paying. So you have to be able to trust those people. When you have a tax abatement coming in, did they know? Probably. You do sign disclaimers of businesses coming in saying that you won't leak what they're doing.
They all told us they didn't know at the time. And the EDC even citing confidentiality agreements with Embraer, saying we couldn't tell the commission. I'm sorry, if you can't tell me, I'm not voting to give you any money. I understand I may have to keep it secret, but
right.
You're not getting any money from me if you can't tell me what's going on. Would you have a similar philosophy to that?
Well, I'm not going to spend money unless I know what's going on. It's the same as the kids coming to you asking for money. You want to know what they're going to do with it.
Now, does Grant-Valcaria have a representative on the Transportation Planning Organization in the county?
No, down in Grant-Valcaria, we don't have the population to hold a seat on that.
Okay. What about that role? I mean, is that a necessary function, or is that something that each individual governmental entity should be handling on its own?
I think that is a necessary function. But most municipalities hold a seat on that, so they're able to, make the votes and control that. You have a road that'll run through a bunch of different municipalities, so each one should have input on that.
All right, very good. Got just about a minute or so left. What do you want this audience to know as they consider how they're going to vote in this County Commission District 3 Republican race?
I'd just like to thank everybody for being there, getting out, and you can visit my website. You can
go ahead and give them the website real quick.
It's www.votemahaney.com.
Spell Mahaney.
Mahaney.
VoteMahaney.com.
Votemahaney.com.
All right, very good. Anything else you want to tell them before we head out?
The next 4 years are going to be the most important years of our lives. This is going to be time to rebuild our economy. So we need to make sure that we put something new in there, some changes.
All right, Jason Mahaney, thanks for taking the time today. Pleasure getting to know you. And
thank you.
You folks can check this out on demand on the website, and we'll talk to you again soon on Bill Mick Live.